Joining me now live from Puerto Vallarta is journalist Dan Dix, founder of Press for Truth. Dan, thanks so much for joining us. What is the situation? You're still there in Puerto Vallarta. What's the situation like now? Is it improving?
It is improving slightly. Things have seemed to calm down a little bit. They are attempting to open up the roads. They are attempting to allow taxis and buses and Ubers to drive. However, logistically, it may still be very difficult because the cartel was using backhoes and equipment that was ripping up the road, making it next to impossible for people to travel. But as it is right now, the fires seem to have stopped. There is no more smoke lingering in my area. But was it ever a different scene yesterday when just stepping outside of this hotel, it was like an eerie wasteland of smoldering, burning cars. And just the place was completely empty, except for maybe the odd military man driving around in trucks and cartel members potentially as well, because you don't know who's military and who's not around here. These guys look just like the military. They have tanks. From what I understand, just a few years ago, they were shooting at military helicopters with rocket launchers that they have at their disposal. So this, when you're talking about the drug cartel in Mexico, these guys are not messing around. They mean serious business. But as it is right now, it seems like life is sort of getting back to normal. Is this the eye before the hurricane, the calm before the storm? I don't know. Are they going to relaunch something, in a day or two? That remains to be seen. But as it is right now, things seem to be relatively calm here at my hotel, where I'm kind of stuck for the next couple of days because my flight has been canceled, as well as hundreds of other people at this hotel.
Yeah, what is that like there at the hotel, and how are people taking this? We just heard from one tourist who was there and on their way to go whale watching when they were stopped by, they assumed, a cartel member armed with a gun and ordered them out of the car. This is pretty scary stuff when you're there. Many Americans, many Canadians, many Westerners are there on holiday, are there for weddings, or like yourself, there to speak at a security conference.
Well, interestingly enough, I've been speaking at a conference for the last 5 days. I met a lot of great people there. I met this Australian couple. And then I hear later that yesterday, some attendees of the conference who happened to be Australian had their cabbie pulled over, their taxi pulled over by these cartel members, and the cab driver was killed on the spot right there in front of them. The car was set on fire, and their luggage went up in a blaze, including their passport and everything. So these poor people's lives have been completely turned upside down, and they are dealing with this right now in a very horrific way. So yeah, people are going through some really troubling times right now, and people at this hotel, like you asked about, are certainly going to try to do everything they can to get out of here as soon as possible. One gentleman said his flight's not going to be available until Saturday, and today is only Monday. So that's a long time to have your trip unexpectedly extended. So hopefully nothing like that happens to anyone else who happens to be stuck in this situation right now.
Yeah, the U.S. government is warning Americans to shelter in place until further notice in many parts of Mexico, not just Puerto Vallarta. Many airlines, including United, Delta, American, Alaska, have all canceled flights into and out of Mexico. What are you hearing about when things might start to resume, flights out, when the shelter-in-place order will be lifted?
Well, I had to stand in a long lineup of over 100 people at least today at the concierge desk here at this hotel, because there was what looked to be about 100 to 150 people in line waiting to rebook a room so that they can extend their stay because of the fact that their flights have been delayed. So rebooking has been a bit of a nightmare here. I was told by my airline that they're going to send me a new itinerary, and just to sit tight. I was supposed to be home and comfortable back in Canada already, but I still haven't heard when I may be able to return home.
Wow.
And from the people I spoke with as well, they have no clue on when they may be able to return either. So it could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be a week. It's tough to say. I think there's a lot of backlog right now for everybody who missed their flights yesterday. So it could be a while.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.